What's up, everyone? Today we're doing a full build walkthrough, building a note-taking app that is able to summarize and create questions based off of your notes, leveraging AI tools in order to build a simple web application. Here's just a quick preview of the app. Before we get into it, hit that like button and subscribe. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the AI Agentic Bros YouTube channel. We're going to be doing a walkthrough building a simple web application using Lovable AI and Supabase. I'm going to be showing you guys how to use these AI tools, and more importantly than the tools themselves, showing you the process that we go through when it comes to making AI applications. If you guys are interested in learning how to make money with AI, go grab our free course. The link is in the comment section below, and sign up for your free AI starter course today. The first and most important thing that I like to do is map out the entire process beforehand, which it just makes it easier for me visually to see everything, see all the moving parts. And what's super important to me is the flow that the whole process is going to follow. It just makes everything work easier and in an organized fashion. So I'm just here on my Miro board, and I'm going to go ahead and walk you guys through the process that we're going to follow before we get headed into Lovable. So as you guys saw from the preview at the beginning of the video, we built an app where you're able to post your notes from a class or a lecture, whatever it may be, and you're able to get a full breakdown summary of all the main points, as well as some comprehensive questions to go along with it. This is essentially a study tool, something very simple yet very effective. First thing I have here is the idea. I'm calling it Noted AI, a smart web app that helps you study better by turning your notes into clear summaries and personalized comprehension questions. Perfect for students, researchers, and lifelong learners looking to understand and retain information faster. I like to keep a brief summary, the main purpose behind the idea, and who are we building it for, which is very important. So we go ahead and zoom out. What I like to do is I go into ChatGPT and kind of brainstorm my idea a little bit. Then I'll take the top points, the most important points, and I'll throw it on my Miro board so I'm able to just stay organized and focused. All right, what I like to call step zero, planning. So the most important part, we already have our idea. We're going to create a buyer or customer persona, as well as have our purpose for the app very clear. And last but not least, we're going to have an app layout. This helps us define the what, the idea, the who, the buyer or customer persona, and the why, the purpose of building this application. The app layout is going to be important for when we get to step one, which is creating our lovable prompt. So now that we have all this information, we have our idea, our persona who we're trying to sell it to, the purpose, and the way we want the app to be structured and look. We're going to create a prompt based off of that and create the front end for this web application using Lovable by pasting the prompt. I'll show you guys how to create an amazing prompt for Lovable, and then we can create the front end from that prompt. After that, step two, we're going to connect to Supabase. Supabase is going to be our database that we're going to use. It has native integration with Lovable, which makes it super easy to use, especially for people who are non-technical and are not familiar with databases. We're just going to go over setting up and connecting the project, as well as creating a simple authentication system. So we'll have email and password for people to sign in. We're going to set up a table for storing old notes, so you're able to create new sessions as well as see what notes you have summarized before. Step three, we're going to cover LLM integration. We're going to want to integrate AI into the web application, so we're then able to summarize the notes as well as get those comprehensive questions. And we're going to be breaking that down. We're going to use an API key, and we're going to create a system prompt for the LLM. Step four, we're going to test it all. And after a successful test, you should have your finished prototype. Now, some key tips for success, things to keep in mind. Make sure you have detailed and clear prompts. Number two, I would say plan step by step, just like we did. Make sure everything is clear and has a flow that makes sense to you, and that's going to be easy to follow and is organized. And make sure you're using tools like ChatGPT or Gemini to plan with. Last but not least, I'm going to show you guys the importance of using the chat mode in Lovable. This was an absolute game changer for me, and seeing how it's evolved over time. This is my favorite feature that they have added in, and it's going to make your job so much easier. Step zero, the planning stage. We're just creating our customer persona and the top 5 problems for this tool to define the purpose and why people should use it. That's basically the prompt I have. All right, so it's created a customer persona for us, gave them a name and age, occupation, biology major, goals, learn complex material more efficiently, prepare for exams with less stress, save time organizing and reviewing notes. Here's some pain points it's identified: overwhelmed by disorganized lecture notes, struggles to retain key concepts, and has limited time to review before tests. Show some of the productivity tools that people use, as well as the behaviors. Here's the top 5 problems that our product would solve. So unclear, messy notes would become clean summaries. Lack of practice questions, we would be creating personalized quizzes. Inefficient studying, this would be a smarter focus by highlighting key points and concepts to focus on. Low retention would go to active recall support. Encourages active recall through custom questions. And number 5, burnout and overwhelm. It'll lighten the load. The main purpose of Noted AI: to make studying and learning simpler, faster, and more effective by using AI to clean up, summarize, and quiz users on their own notes, turning passive review into active learning, and why they should use it, or the value prop. Noted AI saves you hours of studying by converting your raw notes into ready-to-study content, clean summaries, and custom questions designed for better retention. No more guesswork, just smarter learning. So for students, ace exams without the stress. For researchers, extract key findings and insights. And for lifelong learners, actually remember what you read. So now we have our idea, customer persona, who we're catering to, the problems that we address, and the purpose of our application. Let's go ahead and plan out the structure of the page. All right, here's a prompt I'm going to put in to help design the app layout. I described briefly the overall flow of the page and the overall design that I have in my head, just giving it to ChatGPT so it can expand on some of the ideas that I have, as well as leaving it open for suggestions to see if I missed anything or made any mistakes. So we'll see what it comes up with. All right, here's the result that it gave us. It was a quick landing page layout, simple and conversion focus. Breaks down the structure, CTA button that we want to have, hero section seems solid. We have the app dashboard after the users log in. We're going to have a sidebar and main workspace, keeping it very minimal. I want to keep it very minimal. That was my goal. Something very simple. Everything looks good, gives us a color scheme, user interface feel, gives us some quick tips and a summary. So everything looks solid here. Remember, if you don't like something or you want to make some changes, just let the AI know, make adjustments where you think you need them, and don't be shy to experiment when it comes to this stuff, because you want your product to come out how you envisioned it, and you want the best product that you're going to be able to make. All right, so step 0 is done. We have our idea, customer persona, our purpose, and our page layout. And now we're going to move on to step 1, creating our lovable prompt. And I'm just going to be using a simple prompt here. Build your lovable prompts with an LLM, please. I've worked with clients who have typed in 2 or 3 sentences into Lovable's dashboard and complained about how it's not a good tool. If you're not using the tool correctly, you're not going to get a good result. So think through carefully before you do anything. We're going to give it a very simple prompt here, just saying, based on everything we've planned so far, including the persona and purpose, as well as the complete page layout, create a detailed prompt for Lovable AI to create this in Lovable. And just making sure it covers some key features, like how we want the notes to work and simple authentication system, along with the purpose and a detailed page layout. So let's see what it comes up with. It gave us a result, but I don't like the way it's formatted, too many emojis and a lot of spaces. So I'm just going to go ahead and reprompt real quick. After a quick reprompt, we have our prompt. I went ahead and read through it. It covers our basic key components. So let's go ahead and take this prompt to Lovable and see what it comes up with. All right, here we are in Lovable. We're just going to go here. This is how you create a new project. Quickly paste it in and see what it comes up with. Once you paste your prompt, it'll start spinning up a preview. Just wait for that to get finished, and we'll see what it comes up with. All right, looks like we actually ran into a build error. Build unsuccessful. It was processing everything that we gave it. We did give it a huge prompt, to be fair. So no problem. All we're going to do is hit try to fix it, and I'll see what it does. This is a great example of using the chat. So it was an unsuccessful build. It was showing me the error that it was having, the issue, saying it's going to fix the error, but I could not see the preview. I said that in chat mode. It goes ahead and analyzes everything and tries to find the issue. Once it finds the issue, it'll propose to you a plan. You hit implement the plan if everything looks good to you, and hopefully that will go ahead and fix the issues that are going on. This is what it came up with. I think it looks really good. I'm going to make some really small adjustments first, and then we're going to go ahead and look at how it executed from the prompt. Here's another example. I kind of wanted to, I felt like it was hard to see because it was like light on light. So I went into chat mode, let it know what I wanted to change. And as you can see here, it's showing some of the current issues that it notices, and it makes a plan. So areas for enhancement, it's going to say color improvements, typography and visual hierarchy, enhance CTAs and visual elements, and it goes ahead and lists all those things. We can look over them. We can see what we like, see what we don't like, and go ahead and fix that in another chat prompt. If you're good with what it came up with, go ahead and hit implement the plan. For me, this is the best way to make changes in Lovable, because if you're typing in without chat mode, it's going to just make all these changes and it can mess something up. It can get confused with your instructions. Make sure you're being clear and using chat mode beforehand to get the best results and most efficient work. So we're going to go ahead and implement this plan, see what it comes up with. All right, I made some very minor changes. I feel like the page was not popping enough. It was very hard to see with the light on light. So I just told it to make it a little darker. I changed the logo a little bit, went with a notebook and pen instead of a brain. I just prompted it using the chat mode and had it think through before implementing any changes. All right, so let's go through very quickly what it's built. So we have our landing page, very simple. We have a sign in and we have a sign up for free. We have a quick description. This is the hero section. You want something that's going to grab their attention, sends your overall message, study smarter, not harder, transform your notes into clear summaries, and personalized comprehension questions with AI. Perfect for students, researchers, and lifelong learners. Real quick, if you use this top bar, you can kind of navigate through the different pages it's created. So we have a sign in page. We'll set this up shortly. We have an email and password for existing, a link over here for the sign up. Right here, it puts a little note, authentication requires Supabase integration. Connect your project. So we will do that right after this step. We can go back to home from here. We have the sign up, create your account, start transforming your notes with AI. Right here where they can sign up, back to home. Again, make sure all the buttons are working. And if they're not, just quickly prompt it in chat mode. Hey, let's say, for example, this button right here wasn't working. Quickly go to the chat mode and say the get started for free button in the hero section is not working, and fix the functionality. Last but not least, here is the dashboard, as it's calling it. Again, keeping it very simple, very straightforward. We have a side tab to create a new note, and this is kind of a drop down section, or kind of a section where it's going to drop down your existing notes, create your first note or new note ready to learn. Very simple. If we click on that, it'll give us a title, note title optional, obviously, and you can start writing your notes here. And here's the button that we described before. This will be the functional. This button will build in the functionality for it, and that will be the button they'll hit to summarize and create questions. As you can see, it created a new note here, gives us our date. See if we created another new note. It actually does that already and has both. That's very good. Let's see if this works. Let's go ahead and just put test. This is a quick test. Nothing crazy. And we go to the other note, and this is still available here. So overall, it looks like our prompt worked very well. It's matching all the functionality that we described. Overall, has a very clean look. Once you kind of get your skeleton into Lovable and you have the project in front of you, you can go ahead and revise all the components that you want to change, things you want to improve on. Overall, I'm very happy with what it's created so far. Now it's just time for us to fill in those functional aspects, such as the sign up, which we'll get into right now. Starting with step 2 of our process, we're going to set up everything we need to with Supabase. So that's going to include our authentication, as well as storing the old notes, and we're going to set that up right now. Lovable actually has a native integration with Supabase. If you scroll up to the top, if you go up to the top right here, manage Supabase, connect Supabase. Make sure you connect your Lovable account with your Supabase account. Project not connected, so you'd choose the project to sync with. Connect our project. If you don't have a project that's set up for it, just go ahead and create a new project, or we can go to the chat and see if it's able to create a project for us that would cut down on the setup time. Let's go ahead and see if we can do that. So we'll take a quick look here. So it cannot directly, I asked it, can you set up and connect us to a Supabase project? It cannot directly go and create the project. So we're going to go do that shortly, and I'll teach you guys how to do that. But it can manage all of these things once it's connected to our project. Set up user authentication, which we're going to do. Create and manage database tables, which we will also probably be doing. Handle user sessions, create backend API functions, as well as store files, images, and use secrets securely for API keys. So let's go ahead, go to Supabase and set up our project. Let's navigate back to Supabase, connect to Supabase. Connect project. That's just my organization that my account is set up to. We're going to go to create project. Go ahead, name your project, make a password. We're going to go with noted.ai. Quickly put in your own password and hit create new project. And now we have our Supabase project. We're going to come back to our project in Lovable. Click on Supabase again, connect to project, and select noted.ai. It's going to load. And you're also able to disconnect and reconnect to a different database whenever you need to. Right there, just like that, Supabase is connected. Your app is now connected to Supabase. You can now work with a fully featured backend and add powerful features to make your app truly functional. Perfect. All right, just like we talked about, before we make any big changes, we're going to use chat mode to plan out our process before we implement any big changes. There's 2 things we want to add here with Supabase. We have user signups with basic authentication, and then we're going to see if we can be able to store the old notes in different tables. Let's go ahead and ask Lovable the best way that it thinks we should execute our plan. All right, here's the prompt that I'm going to send it. There's 2 things I wanted to set up with Supabase. The first one being simple authentication linked with the sign up and sign in. I've set up authentication many times before. The second thing that we want to try to do, storing the previous notes and having new notes, and also having continuity with the notes. I needed to break that down and explain it to me a little bit better. So I'm also asking about that. In order to store previous notes and create new notes, how can we create a place to store the notes? Like a table where we're going to have all that information. So let's go ahead and see what Lovable thinks about this. All right, it's breaking it down, just quickly analyzing everything that we have in our setup. It said, I can help you set up both authentication and note storage with Supabase. Let me first examine your current authentication setup to understand what we're working with. So it's going to go ahead and read through our code and see how we have everything set up. Current state, it'll let me know that it has a well-designed sign up and sign in form with placeholder authentication, meaning it's not set up yet for people to be able to create an account. As you guys saw before with that little message reminding us to set up Supabase. And it broke down what else we have. So here's the implementation plan that it's giving me. I'll quickly read through this and see if there's anything I want to adjust or make changes to before I give the green light to go ahead and make these big changes. Just reading through these suggestions that it has, there's already a few things that I forgot to mention, and it's picking up the slack. So if you go ahead and see things like adding route protection, ensuring that the dashboard is only accessible to authenticated users who are signed up, and it's just giving us a breakdown of the table that it's going to create to have all of the information from previous notes. So we're going to have user ID, the title, the content and the actual summary that the AI will give us. As you can see, it'll be stored as text at the AI generated summary. I have the questions, when it was created at, and when it was updated at. They'll add some security as well. I read through the rest of the plan and I think it looks very solid. I don't really see anything I want to change right now. We're going to go ahead and tell it to implement the plan and see what it comes up with. Here's what it came up with. It's got a full plan for the database. This is all should be SQL. So we're just going to apply changes, run the code, and see what it comes up with. All right, it's finished setting up. Let's go ahead and see what it's implemented. Set up the database authentication system, allowing people to sign up, notes management, persistent note storage tied to user accounts, real-time saving and updating of notes, updated dashboard connected to a real database operation, proper logout functionality, and notes load automatically on authentication depending on your user. Those are the systems that it's put in place. Let's go ahead and test it out. Boom, let's open a preview real quick. Get started for free. Full name. We'll use the spam email and set a simple, boom. Ooh, we've sent you a confirmation link to complete your registration. That's one of the really cool features that you get with Supabase. I'm going to turn that off just for testing purposes. All right, after adjusting that setting, let's go ahead and create our account. Boom. We've sent a confirmation link to complete my registration, but we've turned that setting off for now. And if we go ahead and head into our database, we load it. In users, you will see my name. I've got an ID as well as my email. Perfect. Let's go ahead and look at some of the tables it's created. All right, so it's got the AI sessions. Under profiles, it's got the new user that just signed up. So everything's working correctly right now. This is where the notes will be stored. Perfect. We have the logout function that should be working correctly. And we have new note. We can call this test one, testing out our web app. Pretty cool. We have our noted button here, which isn't going to work yet because we haven't integrated the LLM. We've got a new note. I've got some meeting notes. Paste my stuff out here. Curious to see if we go back into the database. Right here, it's got our title. It has our content. And these are all the different sessions that I have for this specific user in our back end. Obviously nothing in the AI session yet as we haven't set that up. And that will be our next step, creating the functionality for the noted that's going to summarize and create questions for our notes. All right, so let's quickly recap what we've done so far. We've created our plan. We have created our prompt based off of our plan, pasted that into Lovable. We had our landing page and app page. Then we successfully connected and created a Supabase project that we are able to have users sign up with, create an account, as well as store the user's notes. Now, the last thing that we need to add in is the AI functionality, and we will have completed our project. As I've said multiple times, we're going to go straight to the chat mode and carefully plan out our next step. All right, here's the prompt. I'm just running my plan by it, really. I'm saying I'm thinking of giving my Gemini API key along with a system prompt that you will use every time to call the Gemini API, and then the summary and question output that will be given to the user. I'm going to first ask Lovable if this plan makes sense, and we'll go from there. All right, let's see what it came up with. Perfect. I can see exactly what we need to do. Our current implementation has a placeholder for process with AI. That comes from the prompt that we have. We mentioned the functionality that we intended to use, so it put a kind of placeholder there. Perfect. Our idea is to replace the Gemini API integration. It's right. So it's saying it's going to work. So we already have that function and we have the proper state, it's saying. Okay. So here's a proposed implementation plan. We're going to create a Supabase edge function. This will securely store your API key. Remember, don't just paste your API key straight into the chat. You're going to want to keep that
secure in the back end. The note content as input. Use a system prompt to instruct Gemini on how to analyze the notes. We're going to create that system prompt shortly. And return structured summary and questions. Perfect. That's the edge function that we're going to create. Next, system prompt design. We're going to create a consistent prompt that tells Gemini to analyze the provided notes, generate a concise, helpful summary, create 4 to 6 thoughtful comprehension questions, and return the response in a structured JSON format. Perfect. Makes sense. And we're going to update the dashboard and replace the dummy process with AI function to basically call the edge function that we're going to create, pass the current content to Gemini, have the API respond, maintain the same user interface flow you already have, which is super important. The number one thing you want to do is make sure that you have a clean, simple, easy process for a user to follow. You don't want people getting confused. It should be click on this button, it takes me to the app. Very simple sign up. You don't want to overcomplicate the functionality of your web app, otherwise no one's going to want to use it. It kind of breaks down the pros of our approach, which it seems great. We're going to implement the plan. One thing I like to do, I say, sounds good, just affirming that I'm with the plan. Let's implement the plan. But what I like to ask it is, what exactly do you need from me to correctly implement the plan? A prompt like this is going to save you so much time. Sometimes it forgets to ask for certain things. You just want to take that extra step to clarify exactly what Lovable needs so you can make the building process smoother and more efficient. So we're going to go ahead and put that in the chat. So it got back to me. Here's the things that it needs. Use my Gemini API key. Remember, don't paste it directly into here. Ask it for a secure place to paste it. Needs a system prompt. We're going to build that right after. Here's some questions for us. Does the system prompt align with our goals? And the processing behavior saves the current note content. Process with AI. Looks correct. Any modifications? All right. So the Gemini API key, you're going to want to get that from Google AI Studio. I've already set that one up, and I'm not going to show you guys that, obviously. So we're going to say, give me a secure place to paste my API key. I can't put. All right, right after you ask it for a secure way to provide your API key, it's going to give that to you, and that's where you're going to paste yours in. I'm going to go ahead and paste mine in here and submit, and we're going to create the system prompt. All right, mine is pasted in, submit. API keys added successfully. You can even go into Supabase and confirm that in the edge function secrets it should be. It has now added the API keys. While it's setting that up, let's go and make the system prompt. We're just going to go back into ChatGPT and ask for a system prompt. Very simple prompt here. Just paste it in and see what it comes up with. Created a very simple system prompt. I'll review it, make sure it's good, make some adjustments if needed, and we'll go ahead and paste that in. Looks like it had a build error creating the edge function, no problem. Let's just try to fix it. All right, looks like it was able to fix that build error. And here's our system prompt we're going to throw in there. Just a quick way that we want things to be structured. Main idea, supporting details, supporting example, plain academic language, just setting some guidelines, and 4 to 6 questions based on the most important concepts or themes. So it includes a mix of recall and high order thinking. So it's going to see the differences in my system prompt because it put a system prompt for the current edge function. It's just going to replace it. It's going to update the edge function and test the integration. So yep, that looks good to me. Update the system prompt. All right, looks like it's updated. Now it's time for the best part, testing our app. I'm going to have to reach deep into the bag for some old class notes. Let me go find those and we can do a proper test for our application. Just some quick adjustments. I wanted to switch the logo on the noted button, as well as make sure the output will come out in the right place. We're going to implement these quick changes and then we're going to go ahead and test our application. Like I said, just a few adjustments so the output makes sense. I want the notes here and the AI analysis will be here, made it adjustable so it's easier to look at, and thought it was kind of a cool play on having a notebook. Let's go ahead and grab some old notes and test this thing out. All right, let's go ahead and test our application. Full user flow here. So we already have our account. We're going to go ahead and sign in. Perfect. As you can see, it saved those 2 little tests that we did. Perfect. Super cool. Let's open a new note here. And note title, let's go kinesiology notes. Studied kinesiology. I've got some old kinesiology notes here. We're going to go ahead and paste those in. This was a recap of my notes from test one. Hit noted. Cool little animation there. And as you can see, we ran into a slight problem. Let's go ahead and correct it. Best thing you can do right here is take a screenshot and paste it into Lovable. That's exactly what we're going to do, and see what it says. Quickly, I've included a screenshot and kind of explained what happened. So let's see exactly what Lovable will tell us. Make sure it's being sent to Gemini correctly. All right, after pasting in our screenshot and our explanation, it broke down what's happening. So the good news, so it gave us a couple of potential issues, but after the good news is our content is being sent to Gemini. So the API response and everything like that is working correctly. Gemini had a response, but the parsing or the output is failing. So it defaults to it falls back to the default questions. So that's okay. Now we're going to fix the API request structure and improve response handling, enhance the system prompt, and add debugging and test with simpler content first. Okay, that's fine. Let's implement the plan and see what it comes up with. Should be able to make a quick fix. All right, let's go ahead and try this again. Boom. Processing. There we go. Now we've got a summary, quick summary. It might seem long. I gave it a whole unit's worth of some quick notes that I have. So here's a quick summary that it gives us, making sure to get all the main points. Now, again, I would probably make some adjustments, making sure it's giving me bullet points here, and that's something we can go back and reprompt. It gives us 6 actually very solid comprehension questions. And just like that, we have created, let's go ahead and log out here, a functional, simple, straightforward web application. Most importantly, what I want you guys to take away from this was the step-by-step full process that we went through today. Is this product 100% market ready? Most likely not even close. There's so much that you can add and so many things you can change. Even just something simple as making this paid, integrating Stripe and allowing payments, things of that nature. But in such a short time frame, we have leveraged AI tools to create a real working application. If you enjoyed this tutorial, go ahead and subscribe. Click that link in our comment section for our free AI starter course and join our school community. We're going to have AI development content just like this dropping on our channel. So again, please subscribe if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys in the next video.